Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, in this video, as you can guess by the title, I want to talk about The Rithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. It's a young adult book, and it's a young adult by Brandon Sanderson, which isn't great for me, simply because I've read other books by the other young adults by the author, and I'm really not impressed by them. No, don't get me wrong, I love Brandon Sanderson. He's one of my favorite authors, and I really think high of him because he's doing quite a nice work for the fantasy genre, at least for the adult fiction. But I feel like when he writes for young adults, he sort of waters his book down, and that's not great. I mean, young adults are just young, they're not stupid. And yeah, so that's it. I mean, I could have understood one of his auto fiction books when I was 15 or so I don't see why, if you're targeting your book for people in that of that age, so you have characters of that age, you have to water them down. That just doesn't sound well to me. But I did enjoy The Rithmatist, mainly because it's not that watered down. Now, the whole plot revolves about a young man who goes to school in this really high and prestigious academy that has both normal students and Rithmatists in it. And who are these Rithmatists? These are people who were chosen by a godlike figure, at least that's what we think, that's what we know, to fight some strange forces of evil through means of tracing down lines with chalk. And yeah, that sounds really something like Full Metal Alchemist of some sort, but yeah, so yeah, that's something. So the whole book is sort of reminiscent of books that are similar to Harry Potter and such, because you are in a school, but it's so different, and in some way it's similar to the second Mistborn trilogy, which is not bad, since the second Mistborn trilogy was really bad for me, and this book is really great. Now, the character is not a Rithmatist. That's great, because for the first time in a young adult thing, you see somebody doing something even though they're not the chosen one, and they don't have any superpower. They are just really good at what they do, and he's just a guy who likes listening to lectures about something that he can't do, and he practices his drawing even though he can't really do anything with them. And that makes me just so happy, simply because yeah, that's different from what we're used to see. But anyway, things get complicated and some strange stuff happen around the university, and he, of course, and some other people do have to get involved. And yeah, I do feel that it's sort of a crime fiction in some senses, but it's, of course, there are huge fantasy elements in them. And I do like the fact there is a huge critique of the whole academic world in it, because it's something that many people will face in their future lives, especially young adults. And it's nice to see that, for at least that's the first time I find such a theme in a young adult fiction book. And yeah, so I'm really pleased and really happy of the job Sanderson did. So thank you. Oh yeah, but I've read some reviews, well, they were more like discussions about this book, and the fact that the representation is not as great as it could be. And from a certain point of view, I understand their points, in that there are no characters with a different ethnicity but white people, and there is sort of a heteronormative thing in the whole book. At least people seem to think that there is this problem. Now, for the first problem, I do get why people could get upset, but they also have to understand how the whole situation evolved in the books, since the past of America, since the book is set in a sort of a fictional America where every state is basically an island or an archipelago. So I mean, there is no reference to slavery, there is no reference to any sort of these things, and so I don't really see how people of color who would have gone to America, and yeah, so I don't feel like they should be represented in this book if the history is that, because in that case we are pushing representation where it's not really what you want. Although I do understand that people are a bit sad about that, because there could have been ways, I mean, there could have been probably a ton of different ways in which they could represent people other than white, but in here is my point about the fact that, yeah, they were talking about the representation of things other than, you know, a boy and a girl falling in love together, and in particular this person, I think, was really quarreling about the fact that there are jokes about people, you know, the stupid jokes you make when a person brings a girl to dinner or whatever. And I feel like, I mean, we're just discussing about nothings here, because it's quite normal that if I bring somebody to dinner and it's a girl and it's a pretty girl, you could make a joke about that. Also, we're living in a world where religion has a huge power, because basically Rithmatism is sort of a religion, and it's probably the only religion in which God has an actual influence that you can see, and you see every year, because he is the one that chooses Rithmatists. So how does that change the whole thing, since basically Rithmatism is sort of a mixture between Christianity and science? How does that change? I feel like, yeah, many people forget about that. And also I did like the fact that is sort of a dialogue between science and art in the two main characters of the book. Science and art, and, you know, creativity against norms and structures and such. That was really great. I feel like these themes are great to be explored by in a young adult book. So if you read it and you think the same thing I do, please let me know. If you have read it and you think different things from what I do, yeah, please let me know as well, and I will look forward to read your comments, and I guess we see each other, or you see me in my next video. Bye.